We are heading into year 14 of the Catalina Film Festival in person, September 26th through the 29th. And then for those who can't make it to the island, it'll be online September 25th through October 8th. It's an exciting time. I've been covering it since year 5, but here are the founders of it all, Ron Truppa and Tim Kennedy. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's always good to be with you, man. You're always a bundle of fun energy.
Well, thank you for lying to everybody about that, but I appreciate
it.
I remember the first time I met Tim, we were on the red carpet at year 5, and I was just like, Tim's the guy from All for One, right? I was asking one of the press agents, and they're like, I'm not sure. And I said, Tim, I'm sure you get this all the time, and please forgive me, but you look like the guy from All for One. And he's like, there's nothing to forgive. I am the guy from All for One. And to try to save it, I was like, oh, cool, because you could have been the guy from Shy and going, I'm tired of being mistaken for him.
The guy from Shy.
Yeah. And you didn't believe him, and he started singing for you. He's like, no, seriously, it's me.
Right.
Seriously. Hold on, I'll do another one.
It's like, it's not me, but I do a great All for One tribute band. You should come see us.
Right. With all the other guys that look like they're still in All for One.
Right.
All for Fun? Is that the All for Fun cover band?
Yes, we're at Cozy's 2 nights a week.
They reopened it for you, huh?
It
isn't there anymore. Anyway, we digress.
So much. Well, no, it's all right. But we've had so much going on. We were shut down for 2.5 years with a pandemic. We went online. There was the blend of doing half the show at one point in Long Beach, the sister city for Avalon. And now I believe we're going full blown back to the island for all 4 days.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting. I mean, the whole idea of going back to the island was never really, one of those mind-blowing ideas. I mean, we are the Catalina Film Festival, but one of the things that we did for years, and we started, I think, with the Queen Mary, which was a really cool Art Deco, same time period of, all the construction Catalina venture that we took, was to also give more accessibility to filmmakers and to press and media. And it did work out, but at the same time, I think we just always missed having the whole thing on Catalina. I'm not going to talk about the transition it took from go to one city to the other at 2, 3 in the morning to be up for a 9 a.m. check-in. But it really took a toll on the team too, because we would pack up Long Beach, throw things on barges, throw things on the Catalina Express, check out our hotel rooms, and literally maneuver an entire city over to the island for another day of festival.
But it did make things interesting. That's
I don't know how or why we did it. What's that?
Well, I mean, we understand why, because of the pandemic and because, things were slowly opening back up. So to go back and forth between the two kind of made sense because, sitting on an island is almost a petri dish at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the restrictions were still in place. People don't remember, and we always have to remind them, and always feel like we're harping on the pandemic. But the fall events and fall back to school was always kind of influenced by, I think it was Omicron first, then it was Delta. So you start to remember the names because they were always in the news. Right. So every August to September, we always got hit with these new strains. And then last year, we're like, great, no more new strains. And then it was a double industry strike.
Right. But that speaks to the resilience of 14 years of still making it happen and still making it count.
Craziness.
It's crazy. I was telling them the behind the scenes is like a Tasmanian Devil, but everyone has a great time and they don't realize the Tasmanian Devil that's behind the scenes, hoping that everything goes the way it's supposed to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tim brings the hammer with him, so it's all right.
Right. Bring my Thor hammer.
Yeah. He does. He comes in and he's the Gestapo. He basically makes sure everything is regimented and ruled. Sometimes we're afraid of him a lot. A lot. Oh, you don't think so?
No, I know so. It's always
like, he's coming. He's coming. Hide everything. Hide everything.
It's always the dudes at a certain height that you're like, oh, we got to watch out for.
Oh, wow. At a certain height. I am 6'1". I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you tower over us, and it's right. Intimidating.
It is. He casts a big shadow. Yeah.
It's cool though. I mean, we're happy this year because one, we don't have a lot of those restrictions or any of those things that, you know, we could have maybe seen limit some of the stuff we wanted to do. But this year we just have a really cool program. I mean, we have films. We've always loved the film since year one. So I'm not going to say this year, oh, we have these films. But like the films this year, I would say are really stand out. Tim took a different role the past few years. A lot of it being pandemic based, what took the lead on programming. So he's been helping with programming for years, and then he finally started with his team, kind of curating everything. With Emily Carroll as senior programmer as well, right?
Yep, and Aaron Hernandez.
Buter. You said Hernandez?
Hernandez Buter. Yeah, I did.
Oh, is his middle name really Hernandez or no?
It's hyphen Hernandez Buter. But we did do that with the programming this year, and like every block has like just solid films that we're all like, man, wish we can go see every block or be at every block to see the filmmakers. So we think our audiences are really going to be excited and happy with the curation of blocks.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. I say that every year. It's like they never think that we see their films. They're like, we know you're busy with the festival, but if you could come, our screening is. It's like we've seen your film like 2-3 times. Like we know every part of your film. It's not like we're not seeing that screening but we selected it.
Right.
Yep.
There are babies.
About the selection process, because you guys have to go through 3 or 4 or even 5 different, viewings just to figure out which one's going to make the final cut.
Oh yeah.
And people forget also that it's we're a competition based festival. So a lot of people who may not get in think that their film is not great, but that's far from the truth. So there are a lot of great films that unfortunately we don't have the space to play, but it's just the competition aspect. Something may have just edged you out, but it doesn't mean that your film is not an amazing film. I really want the filmmakers to know that, because a lot of them are like, well, why didn't we get in? It's like, it's not because it's bad. Trust me, that's not always the reason why a film doesn't get into a film festival.
Right.
Yeah, I was on a film panel.
Say it again?
I said, we got to remind everybody, it's 3 solid days and then Sunday with the awards. So, there's only limited space.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's true. And I was on a film festival panel at the Rhode Island Film Festival, I don't know, last month, maybe about 3 weeks ago. And it was Catalina and it was Tribeca with the Rhode Island Film Festival executive director as well. And he was moderating, but we all chimed in as festival directors and programmers saying, there's so much that is out of control. Like, it's so hard just to program blocks that we have fallen in love, and we say this all the time too. It's like we have had 2-hour conversations with filmmakers that we rejected and talked about every nuance of their film because we loved it that much. It just eventually it didn't make the cut because it didn't fit, in a certain block that we were doing, or it was maybe 25 minutes and we would have had to cut 3 or 4 shorts that we really liked that were 5 minutes and 10 minutes and another like 6, 7. So like there's so much that that really messes with our head, and that we really fight to try to get as many of the films that we love in the festival. I mean, it's kind of why we started the online festival in the first place in 2019, right before the pandemic, was we were just so we were so tired of rejecting films that we loved that we wanted to make sure that there was a place for them. And, that's mixed emotions, because some people feel like they're getting cheated if they're not going to be actually screening at the festival. And we get that, and we get that all the time. If you have a live spot for us, we'd love to be in a theater, and we understand that. But the flip side of that is we were rejecting all of those amazing films because we physically didn't have the space. So we looked at online the year before the pandemic as like a tool to not say no to the ones that we still loved. Right. And that's how we always saw it. And I think with the pandemic, now everybody started doing these online film festivals, and I think it kind of caused kind of a different experience with the film distributors. I mean, they're kind of putting different regulations and rules now on like how and when they can go online. So it is changing. So we're reconsidering that and also thinking about that, which is going to make it even harder to block films again, because now you're going to lose a whole bunch of films we really wish we had.
Right. And the interesting about that was these were the semifinalists. They didn't make the cut for these particular reasons, not because the movies weren't good enough to be in the film festival.
Absolutely. It's like going to the Olympics when, there are so many talented runners for the 100, that will beat out just about all the whole world who ran against them, but they're only taking 9 out of all of those that what's called to be in the finals. It's, it's just got the competition. Yeah.
The more popular you get as a festival, it's our 14th year. We're going into our 15th. This is the second time we hit the top 50 best festivals in the world on Movie Maker magazine. We've always been in the top 100, more down the 40 and 50 list of the best reviewed festivals around the world out of 12,000 festivals on Film Freeway for 10 or 11 years straight, however many years we've been on Film Freeway. So with that comes a lot more great filmmakers that are.
All right. After that little internet glitch, let's pick back up where we were. We were talking about the blocking situation and getting all those films in the online component.
Yeah, I think it was just I was on a panel in the Rhode Island Film Festival, and it was film festival geared for all the filmmakers. So I had me, Catalina, we had Tribeca, and we had Rhode Island. So we basically were explaining to them, how it's not your film. There's so many beautiful submissions. And with us getting the attention with being in Movie Maker magazine twice at the top 50 best festivals worth the fee in the world, and the Film Freeway for the past 10, 11 years being on the top 100 out of 12,000 and best reviewed by the filmmakers themselves, we get a lot of attention. And, we're not Tribeca status, I wouldn't say, or even Rhode Island, who's Oscar qualifying, BAFTA qualifying. I think we're getting there, but we do have a quality meter that a lot of filmmakers would like to throw their name in the hat with, and we get a lot of great projects. So it becomes one of those things with blocking that thing becomes sort of our I don't know, pins and needles bed that we lay on, figuring out how to get comfortable picking all these films. And it's tough. It's probably the hardest part, isn't it? And this is what we were saying even in this panel, from Tribeca to Rhode Island to Catalina. We were like, it's so hard picking these films, and more so rejecting the ones that, it's the hardest thing.
It's the hardest and the longest. It takes the
because you end up toiling over the ones the most that could maybe get in or not. Is it
or just the amount of films you have to watch to try to figure out what you think should, be in the festival, and then program against that. It's like, it's really hard.
Yeah. It's like over 2,000 films, mostly shorts. I know people think, wow, that's a lot of film, but it's mostly shorts when you're talking about those numbers. And we have 3 eyeballs on every film. So 3 judges have to watch every film, give their scores, give their reviews, and then we have to kind of look at the creme de la creme with the scores and figure out from there. And we dip a little bit lower just so we can maybe look at the ones just in case they were on the fringe and maybe a judge had a bad day or something and just didn't like whatever they were watching and it made the average go lower. We're even like kind of, concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we really try to look at everything. And I know when we were before we even did a festival, our biggest concerns when we would submit to film, it's like, did they even watch it?
Right.
Like, did they even watch? And we know that's a big concern of filmmakers. So we make sure every film gets coverage. It's just one of the things we did when we said we were going to start this.
And you've made it happen. And on Thursday, September 26th, you're hitting the ground running directly at noon, with the conservation shorts followed by the documentary shorts.
Yeah, I mean, and that's our big international day too. So there's a lot of international films on Thursday. So we have not only conservation and documentary, mostly international themed and based, but then we also have a beautiful film that's closing the festival that night from Italy. I believe it's the U.S. premiere, if it's not the North American premiere. I'd have to look. It changes so quickly. We don't know which festivals they've been in the last couple months since we accepted them. But it's just it's a beautiful film. And it is called, let me look to make sure. The English title is called This Is My Place. There Is My Place. And do you know it? Do you have it in front of you, Timmy?
No, but it's like
in front of me, but my Italian is awful.
I'm going to say, I'm not going to attempt to say it.
Yeah.
I'll say it with my hands. El mío.
El mío posto. It's like el mío. Yeah.
El mio posto è che, I think. But my Italian's awful, so please forgive me to the filmmaker. But My Place is Here is the official title at the Avalon Theater.
You're prepared. El mío posto è qui. And yeah, My Place is Here. So it's a beautiful film. And it's going to be gorgeous sitting there in the Avalon Theater. We have some great Italian sponsors there. We have Faralele, which is the #1 sparkling water in Italy, right from the Mount Vesuvius mountain, right in Naples. They're going to be there. Who else do we have? There's another Italian one, but I'm losing my mind. So we're getting close to the deadlines.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure it'll be on our website. I promise.
That's what happens when you have 2 little kids that run around, make it feel like there's 8 of them in the house.
Yeah. Oh, it is a gin. It's a beautiful gin. So they're making 2. So one, it's a Rangoni gin, and it's from the Rangoni family in Italy, and they are making the Brando gin because it's the 100th year centennial of Marlon Brando, and his daughter makes this gin called Brando. And it's a beautiful flavor. It's got like the flowers from his island in the tropics that like infuse it, turns it pink. It's really an amazing kind of cool gin bottle. And then the Rangoni family also has their gins, which are just premium, beautiful quality spirits. So you'll be able to taste that there. You'll be a fan, boy.
Well, you might be turning me into a gin fan at the end of it, because usually that's not my go-to. But
really,
yeah, you know, I like bourbon a little bit better. That's a little more my style.
We have a nice bourbon for you.
You always have a nice everything on Catalina. That's the thing. Everybody has a great time at the festival, whether it's a short filmmaker or somebody that's a feature, a major celebrity or an up-and-comer. You treat everybody with class and respect.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. We try to make sure that our guests leave there thinking like, wow, we want to keep submitting our films to Catalina because we had such a great time on the island.
I mean, it's a people business, right? Like, we never saw celebrities, including the one on this call with us. We never saw them as anything but people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, everyone has this equal sort of place, and it's such an intimate island with very intimate space, and everyone goes to the same parties and everyone goes to the same films and the same presentations, where everyone is that's really what makes us different from other festivals. It's like you know, I almost wanted to brand it Catalina. It's just fun. It's just more fun, and it is, right, because no one can do what we do.
Right.
You like it?
I like that. Yeah, it's just more fun.
Yeah.
That's the tagline for the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. We're ready.
Yeah.
And it is, but like we treat everyone with respect. We see it as like this magical Disneyland type of place, and I think we adopt that sort of personality and persona. And hey, welcome to the island. You know, I mean, we don't sit there and go the plane, but like we do say, like, this is a magical place. This is where you feel like you can check out. You just went to the Amalfi Coast of Italy. You just went to the French Riviera, and you only did it 22 miles off the coast of Los Angeles, in Los Angeles County, with the US dollar. So it's just more fun. I mean, if you had to pick a film festival, it's just more fun.
Right. You know, and then we got the Lion's Den meeting on Saturday. So
thank you for keeping us on track. I think it's on Friday.
Friday, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes. So Friday.
I'm trying to like not sneeze on camera, so please forgive me. So
no,
Friday
that's
at
okay.
11 o'clock at the Hotel Atwater. So that one's at 11, and then the panel fade-in for the screenwriters is at 2:30, directly following it after a little half-hour break. You know, explain to somebody what a Lion's Den pitch is when they're not too familiar with it, or this is their first screenplay and they're deciding to try to submit something.
Yeah, think of it as Shark Tank, almost like a Shark Tank. It's kind of the idea about inventing the Lion's Den. We have a bunch of accredited investors on there that people
inspired by.
Yeah, inspired by, yeah, Shark Tank. A bunch of accredited investors who are looking, you know, to possibly to make something. We have a bunch of filmmakers who have amazing scripts that they get a chance to pitch to people who have the ability to help them get their film made.
Yeah. And even like there's a bunch of great panelists that are on the Lions Den this year, right? I mean, do you have the names in front of you, sir? Because I am so unprepared with names.
I
But
do not, but
okay.
I can pull it up if you need it.
Yeah, well, we should at least give him credit. But Michael Helfant will be on it. He was a new addition. He used to be the COO and president of Marvel Entertainment. He's got a great production company now. He's been in the business for about 35 years. So, I mean, when do you have an opportunity to pitch someone like that? So they'll be there. The producer and operator of JLo's company,
Natalie Hack.
Yep.
She's the VP of development for Nuyorican.
Nuyorican.
Nuyorican, yeah.
So
And
she'll be there.
Then there's Marcy Lynette. She's a private equity investor. And then London Wright Page Lewis. She's the VP of Business Affairs and Legal and was formerly at Netflix.
Yeah. And they have to be accredited. They have to be able to invest. And if they don't like your project, then they give you advice, or they can tell you why they don't like it, and with a professional eye. And maybe if they do like it, but it's not ready, then they give you advice on how to tweak it. Or you get someone's business card, and all of a sudden you're optioning something. And it's funny, we've actually had people option their films and their TV pilots before. And two of them are coming back to this festival this year because they actually got into our screenwriting competition again. Both of them were winners in past festivals, and now they're not just pitching to mannequins. They are real people that can change a little bit of your career.
Well,
it's a very cool
thing
we did. Yeah. And that was Timmy. Timmy kind of came. Tim came up with that idea with Jenna, right? Did you freeze?
Yeah. I forgot what year it was, but yeah, we were sitting at the Blue Water Grill. I was like, what can we do to change this festival that people who come feel like they really, really got more than they expected out of it? And I'm like, what if they can come out of here and have their script made or their short made into a feature? How would we do that? And we came up with the Lions Den, like that'd be a great pitch thing for the line. Yeah.
And then we also the 15th, Tim will be taking demo submissions so he can help sign you to his label.
Let's not talk about the music industry.
Catalina Idol.
Catalina Island. Idol, yeah.
And we have a great tequila sponsor, Leon y Sol, Lion and Son, who is sponsoring the Lions Den this year. And we also have another great tequila sponsor called Rodeo that is going to sponsor the fest at large. And obviously it's got the Rodeo kind of boulevard look and feel to it. It's a beautiful bottle. So we're really grateful for all of our sponsors that come on. Hedonistas, Mezcal, they're coming on. The libations are important when you're having fun on an island. Right. It's one of those things. 1350. 1350 is a brand that honors a lot of the blue of our nation. So they have like a police officer bottle, and they're the ones that bring in the bourbon and the whiskey, and they have a vodka, and they have a rum, I think for the U.S. Coast Guard, and they have a lot of cool nautical sort of themes too that they're bringing with their brand, and they're just a great company as well. What they do with their mission, and we have hard water. We have Bluebird hard water. They're coming with a whole bunch of different ready to drink varietals like vodka and cranberry and lime and tequila. So that should be fun as well, because it's all about the fun. Mm-hmm. We have, I'm trying to think of everything down my brain. I should have lists.
You should have a list. Do you know what the one thing I'm actually excited about this year, though, Ron?
What?
Is our Truppa honorees that we're doing too. We got some nice tributes
about those. We haven't even announced some of those yet.
I know. I think this will be the first time we actually say something about who is coming to the festival.
See, breaking news right here on Fanboy.
Fanboy gets the first one that Catalina Film Festival is giving our Avalon Award to Oscar and Emmy winner Marcia Gay Harden. She will be on the festival. And then we're also doing our Champion of Change Award to Emmanuelle Chiriqui. Hope I said that correctly. Chiriqui, who is from Entourage and Don't Mess with the Zohan. And, you know, Marcia has been in a ton of movies from Mystic River from back in the day to TV shows like So Help Me Todd. And she's just everywhere, and she's an amazing person.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know, congratulations to the honorees and, you know, people taking the time out to come to Catalina Island. I'm also excited since it's just entering the Halloween season, the Wes Craven shorts.
Yes. The West Craven shorts, you know, that's a block that I look forward to every year, being that Wes was one of our what would you call him? Not a board of director, but one of our
Advisory board and
yeah, and he lent his name. This is the only festival he's ever lent his name to curate a film. And you know, back in the
there's
day,
some other horror festivals that are not so happy about that.
that's too bad. But up until he passed, he was, you know, picking the winners, watching the films, picking the winners, and now the Craven family does the honors of watching our finalists and picking them. But we've got some great horror things, and we display them in the one venues, the Catalina Museum, on Friday night. So make sure you come out and want to be ready to be.
Those are like really fun screenings too, because you always feel like it's just like, you know, it's a niche where that, you know, the people who love horror and thrillers are there, but they are there in like full force, and it's always fun. There's always like a cool atmosphere with it. It's almost like Halloween comes early,
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and that's always fun.
Oh yeah, and we're always looking to have a great time. The one thing that's interesting, let's put this from a fan perspective. I only have one day to come to the island. There's the opening night feature, My Place is Here. There's the Friday night feature and presentation awards. And then there's the Saturday night closing party, but there's also the West Coast premiere of Not an Artist. Of the 3 nights, if I only have one this weekend to come, which night should I show up to?
Listen, that's a hard. That's like, listen, I've got 3 children who are all doing recitals on the same night. Which child do I go to?
I have an answer though. Do you have an answer?
Sure.
Go ahead.
With your shaky camera?
Go ahead.
I would say Saturday, and I will tell you why. One, it's probably when most people are available. It's always the busiest day because, you know, certain people do have day jobs on Fridays that can't always make it out to an island. And Saturday gives you a full day, and you can watch all the films, you can go to all the parties. But we also have a midnight boat on Saturday night that you could take back to the mainland if you don't want to spend the night or everything's kind of selling out. And I know even we are starting to add rooms on just for our invited guests. And so there's a lot that's sold out right now. I would say Saturday would be your best bet if you just wanted to go in, have a great experience, go to the parties, and then hit the midnight boat back to the mainland.
And if you
Yes,
Thursday
but
and
there are
Friday's films, there's the online component that you can catch up.
Oh, there you go. I was like, yeah, from a film aspect, every day is packed with great films to see. So that's what was difficult for me. I'm like, how do I tell people which, you know, day to come when there are so many great films on every day? But yeah, you can see it on. Huh?
I think he should do that. I
Who?
think you have better ideas than us sometimes.
That's because you guys are so overstressed.
All right.
Doing this,
Right? Like, I feel like
you know, well, no, the film festival is going to end the 29th, and I know you're going to take 2 days off, and then October 2nd is when you start ramping up for the 15th anniversary.
it's true.
Absolutely.
It's true. So submissions will open up October 1st, and we have a lot of cool stuff planned for the 15th. The 15th, we have 15th year, not the 15th of October. But we are doing a bunch of mainland fundraisers. We're doing panels on the mainland with some top industry executives and some celebrities that are going to help us do, you know, for your consideration film screenings and just really cool, maybe retrospective film screenings. We're working out really cool partnerships with a specific theater chain that we don't have anything contractual yet. Then we'll have a really cool relationship with the Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica that we're going to try to do some spotlight events at. But the idea of year 15 is to kind of kickstart a lot of our initiatives throughout the year that maybe we should have started in 2020 when we really wanted to make a push, and then we kind of know how that went. But this is kind of like the full throttle 15th anniversary / bring it all to the filmmakers. We're going to mentor a lot more young filmmakers. We're building grants, we're building workshop programs where it's hands-on filmmaking, and we're building the Catalina Film Institute and what it's always really meant to be. And why not do that in year 15? Why not be a startup in year 15? What do you think, Samo?
I think it's a great idea. I think, maybe showing the year 1 winner, just after the year 15 winner.
Kind of cool.
For best
Why aren't
film
you doing this?
See, is a great concept as well. And you guys got so much going on that, 4 days is the perfect amount of time for a film festival, especially where you guys are and being on the island. There are some that are like 2 weeks, and I don't have 2 weeks to go to Palm Springs. As much fun as Palm Springs is, Sedona is a fantastic film festival. Santa Barbara, Catalina, obviously, you guys have made your mark and have been one of the top 50 in the running for the last 10 plus years in a 15-year festival that some guys have been around for 25 years that haven't done that yet. So you've done something right in that time frame.
Thank you. I mean, it's a team, right? I mean, like, we'd love to sit here if we were egomaniacs and take all the credit. But I'll be honest, if you're an egomaniac, you're out of this game year 3, easy, because it is not easy to do something like this. So the team is what has always made, even in our darkest hours and our moments of like, do we really want to do this again? It's a lot of laborious sort of stuff to do here. I mean, we call it punishment. I think we told you that before. The team is amazing. Like when we've had our core people since year 1. I mean, who keeps core people since year 2011 to 2024? And they believed in it. They believed in it in the beginning, even in the hard, moments at 2, 3 in the morning. We're breaking our backs to set up the next setup for the next day. They've all come back. And we may have been the idea founder makers, but people that have stuck by us throughout the years have really been the fuel behind all of this. So we can't do this alone. So I appreciate what you're saying, but those accolades aren't ours. I mean, we have this beautiful island to do it on. We may run a great event because we love what we do and we're passionate, but really it's such a beautiful team of people that kill them. So there's one right there killing herself right there in the computer and taking phone calls.
As soon as you mention it, she runs off camera.
Right, Zima? She's got her headset on. She doesn't even care what we're doing back here.
Yeah.
But it's true. And I thank you for it. I really do. But it's the credit for everybody.
The one thing that's hilarious about Ron and his wife Z is that he always drags her onto the red carpet against her will.
Even in a t-shirt.
Right. She's like, I just want to be behind the scenes. Leave me alone. Don't put me front and center. And there she is working her butt off right now doing so.
Yeah. And, we have a Deb Bauer Unsung Hero Award that we give filmmakers. But the truth is, just even in our own film festival, we have a lot of unsung heroes. People that don't take those accolades, don't take the credit. And, they're part of the reason why everyone's having so much fun. And they just sit back and they enjoy what they've helped create and smile. And there's something really beautiful to that, because they don't want to be doing these interviews. They don't want to be right in front of you in like a red carpet, but they're enjoying the process of making people happy and making something special.
All the way from the staff that you have down to the people running the golf carts, getting everybody around the island.
It's true. And the volunteers on the island.
Volunteers, yeah.
Yeah, Valeria Schaefer. She's one of our volunteers since year 1. She's 91 now.
Is she really?
I believe so. I hope I'm not.
I did not know that.
I hope I'm not saying the wrong.
Are we getting accused of elder abuse if that's the case?
Hey, she's the first to tell you, I wouldn't do it if I don't love it, but I love it.
Oh.
So we gave her our Heart of the Ocean Catalina next year, and she was so tickled pink. She was she's like, I just do it because I love you guys. I don't need all this. But she was so honored that we gave her that award. This year it's going to David Hart in the city of Avalon, who does a lot for us. So it's just really cool. It's a community of people that we've become family and friends with as well on the island.
And if you have a little bit of downtime, you can go see the buffalo. But who really has the downtime to do that when you're at Catalina Island Film Festival?
I haven't had a chance to see the buffalo yet. I've heard they're there, but I have no idea where or how to get to them. But I heard they're there.
They're in the inland. You gotta go in the back country. But I will say this, that led into a great short documentary we have from Chapman this year called The Deer Divide. So there's some interesting controversial stuff going on the island on how they need to take the deer off that are killing all the endemic plants and all of that stuff that's going on in the interior. So there's a big controversy on Catalina on how they're trying to either eradicate the deer or how people think it should be done with a more humanitarian effort. And the Deer Divide, I believe, is playing at the ACC Theater on Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
And it's a Chapman University film. They obviously interview everybody on the island on both sides of the equation, and you have to decide, what is your position on it. But it's been. I'm sure you haven't heard of it, but it's been very controversial lately.
I have not. I only learned about the buffalo thanks to you guys being on the island.
Yeah. Well,
we're here to educate now. Here to educate.
On Thursday. It's on Thursday?
That's what I thought. I don't think it's Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm looking now.
Oh, because we're doing the locals and internationals. We're doing Southern California and international all in one. International descends upon Southern California. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I'm waiting to see the picket signs outside of that.
Thursday at 12. Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday at 12. And there you have it.
Well, I'm looking to see, so this is what I tell every filmmaker when it comes to short movies. And if the short is great, I want it to be a full-length feature. And if it's awful, 10 minutes feels like 10 hours. And so that's my biggest concern with shorts is that, like, if it's really good, I want more. And if it's really bad, it's like I'm checking the clock constantly. But you have full-length features, you have, a short block. You've always put in some great shorts. And, it's a great place for people to launch their careers. As everything progresses now with year 14, as we get ready for the big push at the end of September, how exciting is it the closer we get to it? Because obviously it's a little more nerve-wracking, but there's still the aspect of we're almost to the finish line.
I'm more along the lines of the first thing you said. I feel like as we get closer to it, it's more nerve-wracking just to make sure, because we want to make sure that our guests have a great time, right? And so there's a lot that goes on to making sure they have a great time that we have to do behind the scenes. So it's a little nerve-wracking for us, but I think after it's over, Sunday or Monday, when we see what we put on, then the excitement is like, okay, we did it. We did it another year. And then we start seeing the reviews from people like, we had such a great time. And we realized that we did do a good job in making sure our guests had a great time on the island.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing about all this is, like, we always live vicariously through our own event after the fact. Because it's and I guess the only way to really describe it is the way people describe weddings. It's like they never remember the day because it's always so insane. You're seeing people, throughout your life for like multiple decades that you've known them, and everyone that's important to you, and then it just kind of comes and it goes, and then you just have like this blur. And then you look at the videos and the footage after, and you're in the photos, and you're like, oh my god, I totally forgot that they came. I think, and it's sort of like that blur. It's you work so hard to make it special, which is the whole goal, but then you sort of gift it. You really gift it, and you're just making sure all the details are correct while you're there on site.
And if we ever have a problem, we just go to Mama Truppa, since your mom's usually on the island with us, and
she'll be there.
She'll fill us in.
Yep. And we have a lot of Rhode Island contingents coming this year too. We have the executive director of the Rhode Island Film Festival will be there. He's moderating a distribution panel on Sunday, but he'll be there all throughout. He wants to, introduce films. He wants to do Q&As. So that'll be great for the filmmakers to also mingle with him. We have Erica Atwell of eJoya Productions. She's also the director of outreach for the Rhode Island Film Festival. She's worked with us for 3 years. I don't remember which years, but like 3 years consecutively until she moved back to Rhode Island, my home state where my parents are coming from. And then there's a bunch of other Rhode Islanders that are coming to just support and be a part of our volunteer team. So we're bringing the love of family truly by coastal.
Well, that's all we can ask. And taking everybody to an island while we're at it. We're even going off the coast.
That's not so bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, we get to hang around and ride in golf carts all weekend.
It is fun, right? It's special. Like, aside from all of this interview, you, sir, have been there
Yes.
multiple years.
Mhm.
I mean, why don't you tell us what your sort of checkout is when you come in there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Man, well, I love features. You know, features have always been a big thing for me. I love to check out the features, but just the fact that when everybody gets together, nobody is big leaguing anybody, at least from my experience. Like, you know, I got to hang out with Billy Zabka, thanks to you guys, and
Billy
just
Zane?
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and so many other, you know, Robert England was the nicest person I've ever met. You know, and people are like, "Oh my God, it's Freddy Krueger," and you're just sitting there, and then you're just hanging out with Robert England on the island, and he's talking to everybody. It's not like he's only talking to film critics or filmmakers. He's spending time with the fans. He's getting to know everybody. So the talent that you bring in aren't this like, oh, I don't talk to people that aren't in the industry. They actually enjoy everyone that's on the island with them, whether it's the little shop owner that's been there for 35, 45 years to people that are a part of the film festival. So that is like one of the big draws to keep coming back to Catalina Island, is that you don't feel that whole big league thing of they're the star and I'm just an average citizen. You know, everybody's together to be there for the purpose of the film festival or just to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, that's a great take.
Yeah.
And I think it may also be the island and the fact that, you know, people just, I think when you go to an island or you commit, whether it's a vacation or you know, accepting an award where, you know, whoa, here a helicopter just going straight over me. Whether you commit to go to an island for a vacation or it's to do this, what, you know, we call work, play, work, or play, work, play for, you know, some of the honorees. I think your mentality is you're ready to relax and have fun. I don't think you come with all of that, you know, stuff on your sleeve that you just want to like unload on people. Don't get me wrong, we've had some interesting representatives and managers that think that they should be doing that when the talent themselves are like, no, we're cool, we didn't need that, we didn't need this. But that's just Hollywood, right? But I mean, in general, yes, you're right. It's an amazing place where people just come and have fun and relax, and I think we like to just show them a time that is relaxation. It's an island. And I would also go further and say that that casino building, like the White House, will humble heads of state. You know, they built the White House to humble heads of state and see all of this grandeur. And I think a lot of them don't really know what to expect. And, you know, maybe they think they are a little too big for us or whatever, you know. And then they come and they're like, oh my God. Not only is it a gorgeous island, but this building and this theater and the history that it represents, with Charlie Chaplin and Cecil B. DeMille and D.W. Griffith all screening their first talkie films there, and Marilyn Monroe living on the island with her husband as a projectionist, and Ronald Reagan was there when he got discovered by Warner Brothers. I think they really just sit back and they're just grateful to be there, you know, and it brings you back almost to your childhood. What inspired me when I was little to want to get into this business.
Right. Is there an idea, and this is just me spitballing, since Chinatown was filmed there, at least part of it was, and it was written on the island, to do like a little walking tour for the 15th anniversary, since we celebrated the anniversary of Chinatown, and Marcia Nassiter, when she was still with us, you know, who helped produce the film, and Robert Town, who wrote it there, and everything else that's going on, kind of do like this little walking tour of here we are 50 plus years later for this iconic film.
I think it'd have to be a golf cart tour at least, because Zane Grey Pueblo's at the top of that hill where he stayed when he wrote it. But I mean, you could always look up at it and then look at the you know, the Tuna Club right there and go, that was the Albacore Club in the movie, but it's the Tuna Club in real life. And then maybe point up to Zane Grey's Pueblo. But yeah, I mean, the thing about what you just said is the walking tour would be huge. It would be like, this is where Charlie Chaplin did such and such, and this is where his brother Sid flew their commercial airlines, Chaplin Airlines, right into the harbor and let people get off onto the dock. And this is where Marilyn Monroe stood, and she would hang out in the bird park when she was bored. And, I mean, like, the interesting thing about Catalina, and I think a lot of people don't know this because there's so many festivals out there. They say, "Oh, okay, that's that Orange County festival, and that's that LA proper festival, and there's Catalina, and okay, Catalina's got an island, cool." But they don't realize that it is Hollywood's playground. Like, this is where everyone who is anyone came to work, play, or just live. Like, there's so much history in Hollywood that's iconic that people would want to do those walking tours. Or even where Marilyn lived, and on Whitley, there's a kind of a house where she lived on the internet, and I think there's a Japanese tour group that pinpoint the actual house she lived in the 40s. I mean, there's a lot to it. I mean, people don't realize it's just this pocket. This is where Douglas Fairbanks came. This is where Mary Pickford used to come. This is where Amelia Earhart used to fly in. This is where Howard Hughes used to fly in. They were all there on the opening night of that theater, May 29th, 1929, 1 week after the first Oscars were at the Roosevelt Hotel. Like, this was all designed for Hollywood before commercial airlines existed to Hawaii. So you could literally walk in all of these people's paths of past time. And I don't think, maybe we're not doing enough selling it, but maybe just in general, people really need to know that this history exists. I feel like it's our Statue of Liberty in New York. People know it's out there, and it's kind of this place where tourists go, but I don't think they really know all of the folklore and all of the little history and the tidbits that basically, if you can tell the passion in my voice, sparked pretty much why we do this, why we thought Catalina was the place that needed this reverence when there's 12,000 festivals in the world on every street corner and a cafe.
And here we are 5 years away from celebrating the 100th anniversary of the casino on Catalina Island.
You did your research.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, right?
95 years of the casino. I mean, and to have a couple of premieres there, the red carpet right out in front, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So you want us to go to the 20th? That's what you're saying.
That's what I heard.
Go to the 30th. Is what we want.
That's what I heard too.
That's what I. Like, 20
How old
years.
are my kids again? Kids?
I'm like, I just need to get through 14 real quick before I even start thinking about 20.
We're thinking about 15. No,
Right.
that's cool. You're right. There is so much beautiful history to that. And honoring that. Damn, that's going to probably keep me going for another 5 years.
Mm.
Damn you!
Yeah. As Z starts throwing shoes at me when we get to the island.
Yeah.
You're going to kill me. I don't know where she disappeared.
Yeah, but she's going to hear it come out of my mouth, so it's my fault.
Yeah, she did. Zia, you ready for year 20? Zia, you ready for year 20?
Listen, I'll make a promise to you. I'll come back for that 20th.
Tim will just have to come off tour.
I'll come back for that.
Do you swear, Tim?
Where? Yeah.
You promise? You'll always love us like that?
God willing. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Tim, you've done live performances on the beach, singing your heart out a couple of times throughout the history of the film festival.
You even performed in the casino.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
We need cachet. We're building this thing. Let's get the guys out. Let's go. And they did it. They performed right in the theater.
Yep.
How were the acoustics?
It's great. Don't talk about nobody in the front because they'll hear you in the back.
Yeah, it's true.
Acoustics travel.
And that's the other thing too. We can talk about how beautiful the theater is, but it made its impact. Radio City Music Hall was designed after that place. It was the perfect acoustic design, round dome ceiling. People really just don't understand or know that type of history exists out there.
Right.
And they need to come see it.
Well, LA is not good at preserving its history. That's the difference between, New England. That's the difference between the South. That's the difference between California. Like San Francisco, they have their Victorian homes and that's, you know, quite, and what's it called, Golden Gate Bridge and whatever else.
Yep.
Okay,
Quaid's
great.
Tower.
But LA is not good at preserving its history. Universal Studios, even the studio tour, doesn't necessarily preserve its history. They're like, oh yeah, this is where we filmed Desperate Housewives. And I was like, yeah, but you filmed a million other things there over the
Leave
100
it to
years.
Beaver.
Yeah.
They were all there. Yeah.
But they barely mention that. And it's like, you are the studio that I think has won the most Academy Awards, you know, throughout the history of the Academy. So why does that kind of seem to fall to the wayside? And that's always been my biggest complaint about Universal Studios and the updates to their tour. So LA has never been really good at preserving its history in that regard. And it took a guy from Rhode Island to want to preserve Catalina Island's history.
I know, it's weird. I don't even know why. It's crazy. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. Just crazy, right? You have to be crazy to do this stuff. It's too hard. You have to be crazy. You have to truly love it. The crazy, I mean, is crazy love. And that's kind of the only thing that I think keeps you going. Pure craziness.
Well, the weirdest thing I found out about Rhode Island, since Ron, hopefully you can confirm this, is that the fastest way to get across Rhode Island is to cross state lines and take the freeway and then cut back over instead of actually going through the state.
I thought you were going to say the fastest way is just to cross the street and then you're like in Massachusetts or something.
This is true. Yes, well, it depends where you go. So if you're going on 95, you're going from Connecticut to Massachusetts, that's straight up 95 the whole way. But the fastest way, you're right, is from Fall River, Massachusetts, into Providence, back into like Seekonk or South Attleboro. You can totally get across it. Yeah, it's a little state. We're little.
It's tiny. It's our smallest one.
It is. But it's cute. It's a cute little state. New England's gorgeous. You know, they always say it's like that second tier city. I always talk about the marketing blunder of Target. Someone in Target's marketing years ago, when they first entered into New England and Rhode Island, they drew a 50-mile radius around the city of Providence. And they said, Target is happy to be in the greater Boston area. Actually, they drew 50 miles around Boston, and it hit the Providence state capital. And they had a billboard in downtown Providence that said, Target is happy to be in the greater Boston area. And everybody was outraged. We're a state. I mean, that's how little it is, you know? So obviously they ripped it down really quick when everyone was upset, and the news cameras were like, why is this the greater Boston area? So yeah, it's little. It's little, but so much history.
Right.
So much history.
Hey, Rhode Island is the reason why we have a Senate and not just a House of Representatives, because it was based on population and size. That's why we get 2 senators for each state, thanks to Rhode Island. See, there's your political history for the day as we go into an election 2 months down the road that we're not going to worry about right now because we're worried about having fun in Catalina first.
Yeah. Although I will say every 4 years, it always hits around the time of Catalina. So you always see people gravitating, if there is going to be another debate or whatever, you always see people sort of gravitating towards the bars and watching the screens and just watching it while they're at the festival. I always thought that was kind of interesting. It seems to always fall around those dates.
Yeah.
Well, but I guess maybe we just had one, so we're in the
that, and it's also perfect for the bars because when times are good, you drink. When times are bad, you drink. And so the after parties at Catalina are going to keep the spirits flowing.
Keep it going.
It's true.
Yeah.
Man, it'll be fun. We'll be happy to see you.
Well, I'm thrilled to always see you guys. It's always a good time.
Yeah. We get to live vicariously through you. We do.
Wow.
Like, you having fun? What's going on? Tell us. Is this all happening? Okay, good. I'm gonna go grab a box and lift it up and bring it somewhere.
Then I go to Ron and go, you know, your mom yelled at me. He's like, "What'd you do to deserve it?"
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's I know sweet little Lori wouldn't do that unless there was a reason.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the shoes coming off and ready to fly. So, you know.
The wooden spoon comes out.
Always. Yeah, it's packed in the purse. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's there. The whole everything's in the purse.
The wooden spoon gets through TSA.
Right. Exactly.
That's right.
They don't realize it's a weapon.
Right. It's a disciplinary tool.
Yes.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this. Let's tell the people that aren't 100% sold yet on coming to Catalina Island, you know, what's it called? September 26th through the 29th. why they need to make that final decision, go, you know what, I'm heading on over, we're going to make a weekend out of it and just fill it with films and fun on an island that's only 26 miles off the coast of California.
It's just fun. You know what you said, Ron? That's why. You're muted, Ron. You're muted.
Turn the mic back on, Ron.
Am I good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm like one of those fools who are like, yeah, it's just more fun. Like, so like the way I thought of that was like, if you had to go to a film festival, like we know the ones that are at the triplexes somewhere downtown, somewhere, like we know all those festivals. So you're gonna do the AMC, whatever, you're gonna do, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, we're a subtropical island. We're off the coast. We're an experience, you know, and I think aside of what we do to make a great event happen, you are literally getting a two-punch. You're getting an experience with this beautiful island. You're getting on a boat that you probably haven't done in a long time. Maybe you're taking the helicopter over because you got it like that. Maybe you're taking your friend's yacht because you have it like that. But it's just one of those things that doesn't happen often. So it gives you a perfect excuse to do it now. Like a festival, an event like this gives you an excuse to do it. I've never been to Catalina. I can't tell you how many times we hear that. This gives you an excuse to do it. I've lived there my whole life. I've been here 20 years. I've been here 10 years. I've never been. I always wanted to go. Well, this lets you go. This gives you that reason. And I think you do that for the impulse, but then when you're there, you're going to have to come back. It's amazing.
And it's a far different experience for the people that have been there for only 3 or 4 hours when they take that 3-day cruise off the coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is a better time. Come to the island.
So please come on out to the island, the Catalina Film Festival. We've got a great block of films for you. We've got some great parties and great events, and we know you will have an amazing time on our 14th year at the Catalina Film Festival.
The website is catalinafilm.org. We'll tag all the socials afterwards. Ron and Tim, thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to see you guys in person. It's been far too long.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate all you do, man.
Yeah, it almost becomes like a family reunion at the end. You know, everybody that's been so accustomed to coming and hanging out, it's just like, hey, seeing everybody for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Get a big hug.